Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you my recipe for Italian shredded beef sandwiches. Now most people, the most normal people, dream about unicorns and fairies at night. Me on the other hand, I dream about Italian shredded beef sandwiches on crusty rolls of provolone. So I figured I have to share this recipe with you because it's really wonderful any time of year, whether you're entertaining, when you can make a big pot of it like I'm doing today and keep it in the fridge, and then as you need it throughout the week, make yourself a sandwich, and it is just to die for. And it really could not be easier. You're gonna start off with lots of onions. I've got two onions that I've sliced. I've got some pepperoncini that have been sliced and is still in their juice. I've got lots of garlic, Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, some beef stock. Of course, you're gonna need some meat, and I love choosing a really good chuck roast for this. And I've got some vegetable oil getting really nice and hot in my Dutch oven. Now I'm gonna make this in my oven, like I'm gonna bake it and kind of let it cook together low and slow for a long time. So I have my oven preheated to 300, but you can certainly just cook the whole thing on the stovetop. You'll just have to keep an eye on it. Could not be easier. If this looks weird to you, do not panic, and trust me when I tell you it is the easiest thing in the world, and it just tastes absolutely divine. Everything together, all the ingredients combined, just make for the most incredible, oh, so good. First things first, I need to season both sides of my beef. I'm actually just going to season one side, put it in my hot pan because I want to sear it. And now I'm going to turn this up to really high heat because I just want to caramelize both sides. I'm going to season the second side with some salt and pepper and just let this develop some really good color. Then I'll take it out and we'll proceed. My beautiful piece of chuck is seared and ready to go. Now in the same pan, I want you to look in here because I want you to understand this is so much flavor. I've got about 2.5 tablespoons of vegetable oil left in the bottom of the pan. If your beef just renders out a lot of fat, get rid of most of it and leave behind just a couple tablespoons. I'm going to add my onions. I'm cooking them over medium-high because I'm not looking to kind of cook these down. I'm just looking to develop a little bit of color. Now I like my Italian beef, shredded beef sandwiches with a lot of onions. But if you don't, by all means, leave it out completely and just use everything else. But this is so easy, and it does add a sort of depth of flavor because the onions become really sweet. The pepperoncini are in a brine, so they're quite vinegary, a little spicy, so everything mixed together is just amore. Just trust me, it's delicious. All I'm going to do, I'm not going to season these only because the beef stock is a bit salty and the pepperoncini is a bit salty and the meat is well salted, so I don't find the need. And then at the very end, once everything is shredded, I'll give everything one last taste and just adjust at that point. But for now, I'm just going to caramelize these until they develop some good color, and then we'll pretty much put everything together and we'll be done. Add the garlic, let that cook for like 30 seconds. Now what's going to happen is, when I add the beef stock to this, it's going to release all those flavors that are stuck right now at the bottom of the pot, and that's just going to add even more flavor to the final dish. Now the garlic just needs to cook for a few seconds because remember, everything is going to get hours of cooking. Oh, that smells phenomenal. Okay, let's add the beef stock. Oh, it's going to be good. And it's just kind of like all those flavors just release from the bottom of the pan, and then they're just magnificent. Okay, I don't need this to cook out. I don't need to do anything else to this. I just turned it off. I'm going to add my Italian seasoning, good couple tablespoons of that. I'm going to add my pepperoncini with the brine and everything. Give that a little smoosh around. It smells ridiculously good already. And then the seared beef is going to go right back in with any of the juices. And then what I want you to do is to just kind of nestle this around the onions. You see what I'm doing here? See what I'm doing? Because I want that beef to just be covered in those onions. And now I'm just going to put the lid on, pop this into a low oven, again preheated at 300, and it's probably going to be in there for about 3.5 hours or so, or until the beef completely falls apart and it's really tender and beautiful. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. But do yourself a favor, send somebody out to the store to get some crusty rolls, some really good sharp provolone, and then honey, we're in business. just shredding the last of my beef. Now I want to show you what I've got going on. I have cooked this for about 3 hours and 15 minutes in the oven, and you can see that there's not a lot of sauce, but definitely the onions and the pepperoncini, they've cooked down. There's definitely enough sauce to keep everything moist. I went ahead and shredded some of the meat already, and I'm just doing the other half. And I just took a little bit of like a small ladle or like a spoon and just skimmed off any like of the fat that was sort of swimming at the very top of the sauce. What you can also do is make this the night before and then pop it in the fridge, and any fat will solidify, and then you can just scoop it right off with a spoon. But I just took a little ladle and skimmed it off. So I have that in there, and I want you to kind of see that if there's any pieces of fat like that, for example, you see right there, I just kind of take that piece of fat, I take it off the meat, and I set that aside and discard that because I don't really want that in my finished product. And then just because this is so tender, and it just kind of falls apart, so you don't even need to really mess with it a whole lot. And I did check it for seasoning, and it tasted perfect, so I didn't feel the need to add anything extra. But by all means, just always keep in mind that this is completely to taste. And then mix. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is just flavor galore. It is so soft and it's so juicy. Perfect amount of juice to keep everything moist, but not to feel like everything is sort of swimming in the broth. Now what I have here, I'm going to make one just to show you, and the rest are going to be for dinner tonight. I have a roll that I split open, and this is going to be, I popped this into the broiler just for a couple seconds to toast it up a little bit. And then what I like to do is take 2 pieces of provolone, shove it down the middle like so, and this keeps everything from just drizzling all the way down. And then I still have the broiler on. Then look at this, look at this. You seeing that? Then you pile this with your beef. Then one more piece of cheese that I like to cut in half. You can do 2 pieces, of course. And that like so. And I'm going to pop this back under the broiler just to melt the cheese, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. That is perfection. And look, by lining the bottom of the, first of all, because the roll is toasted, it's obviously going to kind of create a little bit of a barrier so that the bread doesn't get super soggy, but also the cheese on the bottom definitely helps with that as well. I'm just going to cut into this baby because it is smelling beyond heavenly in here. I'm going to go for this one because, you know, it's just standing right out there like that. Uh-huh. Mmm. Mmm. That was a ridiculous bite, and I'm not even embarrassed. Light kick from the pepperoncini, such an amazing balance with the Italian seasoning and the onions. It is such a winner of a sandwich. You must recreate this as soon as possible. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get the written recipe. I hope you love it as much as we do, and I'll see you next time. Bye!